Hi, and welcome back to another edition of Pre-Shift, an educational resource designed to help drive wine sales in a restaurant setting. I'm Brad Fichter, corporate wine educator for the Martignetti Companies, New England's premier beverage alcohol distributor. As always, we're going to stick to the 4 Ps format, an easy way to build a pitch by drawing essential details from the people, the place, the profile, and the price. In this installment, we'll be discussing an iconic Napa Valley winery whose inception was inspired by a trip to France's Bordeaux region and is now part of the foundational bedrock of the Napa Valley. This is the Chappellet Vineyards Mountain Cuvee. In 1967, Don and Molly Chappellet purchased a beautiful 640-acre hillside property on Pritchard Hill off of Sage Canyon Road in the Napa Valley. With a dream to produce world-class wines that would rival the first growths of Bordeaux, they began planting Cabernet Sauvignon vines immediately. After contracting legendary abstract artist Ed Moses to build the design, they broke ground on their new winery the following year. Inspired by the Great Pyramids of Egypt, the winery made quite an impression across the industry, and famed British wine writer Hugh Johnson was quoted calling it the most remarkable wine cathedral in the modern world. While the winery was under construction, the famed Mondavi family was gracious enough to offer their facility so that the Chappellets could produce their 1968 vintage. The following year, with the family winery completed, Don was able to produce and market his first commercial vintage in 1969. With remarkable success and proof that his intuition about how special this piece of property was, the 1969 Chappellet Cabernet Sauvignon earned 100 points from Robert Parker's Wine Advocate and is now considered one of the greatest wines ever produced in the Napa Valley. Since 1990, Phillip Corallo-Titus has led the winemaking efforts, cultivating a series of individual vineyard blocks that are harvested at optimum ripeness to create wines of purity, structure, and finesse. Today, Don and Molly have passed the reins off to the winery's second generation, now led by Cyril, Dominic, Carissa, Alexa, and Ligia Chappellet, who manage the day-to-day operations. To discover the reasons behind why this property is so special, let's travel to the Pritchard Hill. We'll start by orienting ourselves above San Francisco, and then to Napa City, at the southern end of the Napa Valley. Notice the San Pablo Bay, as the cool breezes that blow north off this body of water act as an air conditioner, cooling Napa's vines during the summer heat so that the grapes retain freshness. As we move to the Oakville Crossroad midway up the valley and turn to the east, we see Pritchard Hill within the Vaca Mountain Range, named after Charles Pritchard, an early homesteader who first planted grapes here around 1890. As we climb over the crest of the hill, at 800 feet above sea level, we arrive at the lowest blocks of the Chappellet Vineyard. Traveling up the hill, rising to the top of the property, we end up at around 1,800 feet. In that section, rising approximately 1,000 feet in elevation, the hillside is filled with nutrient-deficient, quick-draining, rocky soils that are perfect for producing structured, age-worthy wines. Grapes grown in these conditions have smaller berries and thicker skins than those grown on the valley floor, increasing aromatic intensity and deepening the color of the finished wine. Hovering over the avant-garde, solar-powered winery where these mountain wines are produced, we are reminded of the ancient pyramids, paying homage to the precision and craftsmanship of antiquity. The Chappellet Mountain Cuvee proprietary blend is built by Phillip Corallo-Titus and his team to provide texture, aromatics, and power inherent to mountain wines, but at a price that's more inviting. The fruit is sourced mainly from Chappellet's estate vineyards and is supplemented with grapes grown by their close neighbors on Pritchard Hill. The blend consists of 51% Cabernet Sauvignon, bringing the red and black fruit along with the firm structure, 24% Merlot, which softens the palate a bit, 10% Petit Verdot, adding richness and intensity to the color, 8% Malbec, bringing freshness and a violet floral aroma, and 7% Cabernet Franc that rounds out the blend with freshness and a subtle aroma of fresh herbs. A concise tableside tasting note might read, This is a full-bodied, smooth red with generous fruit. You'll get ripe raspberry, blackberry, and black cherry, a touch of cinnamon and clove from the oak, and just enough tannin to give it a refined, silky grip on the finish. The Chappellet Mountain Cuvee occupies a premium price tier and can represent a top-quality, value-oriented bottle listing or a top-tier by the glass option. This wine is produced by some of Napa's most talented and experienced winemaking teams, responsible for some of the valley's most iconic bottlings. So even the most price-conscious wine drinkers would agree that it represents a significant value within its category. So let's recap what we've discussed. The Chappellet Vineyards Mountain Cuvee is a classic example of what you can expect from the best mountain terroir around the valley, but at an incredible value. Produced by a Pritchard Hill pioneer who drew the blueprint for future mountain appellations in the Napa Valley. The Chappellet family is truly the gold standard. So next time you have a price-conscious guest in your restaurant and they're looking for a great bottle of wine from Napa, reach for the Chappellet Mountain Cuvee, and I'm sure they'll thank you for it. Thank you for joining me for this installment of Pre-Shift. Until next time, I'm Brad Fichter. Cheers.